Now, I mentioned before in my hobby roundup video for 2022 that I'd painted 177 models. Pretty good, right? Wrong! Think again, because this is my unpainted pile of shame. The pile of shame. These words ring true with just about every hobbyist, even those who prefer the slightly more optimistic pile of opportunity. This January, like a lot of people, I'm in the mood to sort my life out, so I am going through my backlog of unpainted minis and seeing what I've got in that pile of shame. Let's start by cataloguing my pile of shame and come up with some plans to deal with it in 2023. First, a little history. I got back into miniature wargaming after a 20-year hiatus back in January of 2017. How giddy I was, so giddy in fact that just 1 week later I ordered a box of what would eventually become my main army, the Start Collecting Blood Angels box. Every single miniature in this box was painted up. Tactical Marines, Terminator Captain, and the Baal Predator. I was ready to take on anything with all of this awesome firepower in my arsenal. Needless to say, I never won a single game of 40k with this box, but it really gave me the bug. Now, it was about this point the problems began. I was wooed. With the promises of 8th edition 40k and the release of the Primaris Space Marines, I ordered myself a copy of the Dark Imperium box. This is where my pile of shame really begins, because I have pretty much the entirety of the Death Guard half still sitting around unpainted. So, I mean, while we're on successes, I did manage to paint up one, the Plagueburst Crawler, but that still leaves the entirety of Dark Imperium. The dust. So there we go, that's that half of Dark Imperium. Probably need to think about doing something with those. The thing which is less excusable is that I still have Blood Angels unpainted from that same box set. Let's look at Blood Angels next. Wonderful storage system for these. Now, the idea with the Tupperware was to have sort of different projects like available. A couple of Inceptors, another project. The other one, big one here, is Indomitus, where I've got quite a few of the models painted, but there were a large number of them. We've also got Terminators and Aggressors, and there'll be more of those coming up soon. It gets a lot worse. This is my not fit for display cabinet Blood Angels, where I've got a bunch more Terminators. First video on the channel from last year was painting up 20, well, I was going to be painting up 20 Death Company Marines, but in non-metallic metal. Then I realized how long that method took, so I in fact have painted up 2. Now, one of the positives is seeing this, even this number of Blood Angels that I'm about to put on the table here. It's a very approachable number. I think we ended up with about 58. I'll put the actual number up on the screen here. And given that I did the Tyranids Combat Patrol box, 46 minis in a single week, this is definitely doable as a kind of medium-term project. I think that's it. Wait, tanks. So, Death Guard, Blood Angels. What's next? Tyranids. Oh god, Tyranids, okay. Woo, baby! Tyranids. These guys are Megan's first army, Megan's first love, the way I got her into playing 40k with me. Painted up most of the little Gribblies, which is cool. Most of this stuff, so most of your Termagants and Hormagaunts are all painted. We got a job lot of Tyranids that I think, because they're quite a sort of incomplete set, it became quite difficult to know what to do with them. For example, 2 Zoanthropes, not 3, so not a full squad. What else we got in there? There's a Swarm Lord. Let's bring out the Swarm Lord. Again, we have all the arms and bits. A well-loved, well-used army. Yeah, I think Tyranids are definitely in the running for one of the big projects for the start of this year. Let's come on to the other Xenos army in the collection. That is the Orks. I'm going to be well and truly wedged in here by the end, and Meg is saying I'm not allowed to leave until I've painted them all, so there we go. Knobs from the original Orks Combat Patrol. Not the strongest in game, not something Meg's particularly interested in, so not something that's been painted up. We've got the rest of the new Combat Patrol. We've painted up the War Boss in Mega Armor. Then everything in here is built for Orks as well. We have all of the sort of Ork vehicles. One of the main ones that should probably get a bit of attention is the Battle Wagon. Inside of here is an absolute mess. I mean, there's so much stuff. We're looking at doing a big hobby room organization, so these lads getting a bit of better storage is definitely 100% #1 priority. The interesting other project is this one here. which are some alternative sculpts for grots. Now, they haven't yet been kind of primed up, but we've got some really exciting plans for them, so stay tuned on the channel, as I'm sure that that one will be occurring at some point this year. Okay, we're done with 40k armies, right? Still 2 left. Sisters. Sisters are actually okay. In terms of model count, they're probably one of the lower model count armies that I have left to paint. The models that I do have, though, are pretty hefty. For example, the Exorcist tank, which is still in a few sub-assemblies. I think the thing with Sisters is they've got a lot of really very intense character models. All of those are in here. One that I'm really struggling to find time for is the Triumph of St. Catherine, including one of my favourite things I've painted. Here we go, let me show you. Is a sort of pink marble floor on there. What I will say is I did manage to paint up every single model from the original Sisters box that got released. So all of those are painted and ready to go. It's just anything I've accrued in the meantime since then. So last 40k army is the Leagues of Votnn. So we've done 3 out of the models. That means there's still a Carl, the sort of lieutenant equivalent, 18 of the Hearthkin warriors, and 2 Hernkin pioneers still left to do in there. That's all of the 40k. We're pretty much done, right? Wrong again. Is it Blood Bowl? Yeah, it's Blood Bowl. Now for Blood Bowl, I've been keeping all my models in. Thank you, Megs. I've been keeping all my models in these lovely Games Workshop carrying cases from 20 years ago. And to give you an idea of inside of here, all the various different teams for Blood Bowl. And I will say the number is artificially inflated due to the fact that the Snotling team has about 100 different little tiny models in it. But yes, Blood Bowl is definitely one that I need to get down to kind of focusing team by team in some way. Yep, okay, so that's Blood Bowl. I'm kind of ashamed about this next one because this is probably one of my favourite games that Games Workshop's ever done. And one of the games that Meg and I have had the most fun playing. Yeah, she's already bringing over the box now. But the one that's got the most absolutely chaotic and tragic kind of storage solution. That is Aeronautica Imperialis. So yeah, somehow, due to the way that we store things in the hobby room, this is the best we could come up with. So that's Games Workshop, right?
That's Games Workshop.
Pretty much. We've got the Troggoth is the last one. Why did we get the Troggoth? Yeah, the model is really cool. How's that gone for painting, that makes?
I tried and then realised it was too hard a paint job for me. So he's purple.
Yeah, so Meg tried, he's purple. We bought some nice purple paints and then Meg realised he's too hard a paint job, which is unsurprising. If you've ever seen like Golden Demon, you'll see that this kind of thing, the kind of largish trolls and that sort of thing are always prime for kind of awesome epic paint jobs. We're not quite done with Games Workshop. I count this as a boxed game, okay? Some of these are going to be used for my sisters as well. But Blackstone Fortress still has unpainted minis inside. I've done some of the Urguls, I've done some Chaos, but this, yeah, still got a lot left to do. What else? Right. Gloomhaven, we've done 2 of the character models, but we've still got 16 left. I think there's 18 models in there. Is this possible? Don't knock everything off, Ollie, don't knock everything off. Dark Souls the board game. Feels like I should insert a "you died" here as I just... So, Dark Souls the board game. Still got most of the sort of character miniatures, the knights, the hollows, that sort of thing. And this one is a fun one to do with my gaming group, so would really like to get those painted up. Maybe I'll do a mission session with Dark Souls there. Doing this little exercise, and in the background I was also kind of plugging them into an Excel so I had a record of what I have, is the first step to me actually getting some of these models painted. The final count on models in here, more or less, is about 465. There's more than twice as many in my unpainted pile as models I managed to paint last year. So I'm really going to try my hardest not to buy anything new until after I have made a significant dent into this pile. Seeing this pile all laid out has actually filled me with more excitement than dread, I think. So I think pile of opportunity probably is a more appropriate thing for me in my situation here. Let me know how big your pile is. How does it compare to my 460, let's say 500 minis? Have you got a lot more? Are you better at keeping on top of things? Let me know in those comments down below. It's a new year on Hobby with Ollie, so make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. Send it to your friends, let them know that we're here. Out of all the things that we've got on this table, what would you like to see me focus on as my first major painting video of the year? In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. My name has been Ollie. This has been my hobby, and I'll see you next time.